Hello, everybody, and welcome once again to Optimal Living Advice with me, your host, Greg Audino. We've got episode 287 going on this fine Wednesday, and I'm happy you've come along to listen. Now, this question today is really cool, and it offers up a chance to think critically about what it means to grow up and maybe assess the implications of choosing one life path over another. I'm excited for this one, so let's stop talking about it and just do it. Time to get into this Q&A as we optimize your life. At 29 years old, I'm looking around at my friends and not really sure where I belong. Many of them have families. I've deliberately chosen to build a career instead. Then I look at other people hustling, and they all seem to stay home a lot, and I like to travel. It's hard to find other people who are making all the same choices as I am, and I'm starting to think I went wrong somewhere. Or maybe I'm just feeling lonely, even though my partner is really supportive. I think it's good to be on your own path, and I don't know what decisions I would have made differently, but when I look around and don't see anyone else doing exactly what I'm doing, I guess I feel a little immature or behind. Is there something I'm missing, or am I just imagining things? Oh, Asker, what a climb it is towards 30, isn't it? What a climb. Thank you for sending this one in. Let's refer to one of my favorite conversation topics. Let's talk about me and my best friend Jojo for a second. Jojo, like many of my friends, certainly the ones I grew up with, has a family of his own. And he and his wife have been together since we were in 8th grade. They just had a baby a few months ago. He bought a home before most of us, a home near where we were raised, and was certainly one of the first of our group of friends to tackle these classic adult commitments head on. I, on the other hand, do not have a family of my own. I've lived in 3 different states since we all left our childhood homes for college 13 years ago. Though my connections with my loved ones always mean the most to me, a lot of my big decisions have been driven by the work I felt most passionate about and the places that I feel offered the most enriching activities for day-to-day living. So Jojo is much quicker to find contentment than I am, and accept and work with what's in front of him without feeling that he needs to do a full overhaul or test every option in the world before settling on a decision. So basically living instead of just thinking about it. His family is in place, and he's entirely fulfilled by that. So when you see us together, and I am pulling my hair out about wanting to make changes to this and that until things feel exactly right on an existential level, while Jojo sits calmly, effortlessly enjoying the foundation that he has in place he's had in place for a while now, you might think that he's the more mature one. I, however, have taken a lot more risks than Jojo. I've tested different people, places, and careers. I've weathered the storms of a lot more large-scale changes than Jojo. I've accumulated a lot more experience, challenged my views more, and have seemingly undergone more transformation since we were kids than he has. So, when you see us together and he talks about other things that he's had his curiosities about, namely other places and jobs, but opted not to act on because he was nervous about the disruption he felt it would cause his foundation, and I'm there, sitting calmly amidst my own fracas, content in the fact that I've said yes to these curiosities and continue to be unafraid of them until settling feels right, maybe you'd think that I'm the more mature one. It doesn't matter. Neither of us is the more mature one because the point is this. Different life decisions mature us in different ways. Those who stay single for a while, might become more mature when it comes to independence, self-sufficiency, and understanding their own needs. Those who are in relationships for a while might become more mature when it comes to commitment, sacrifice, or teamwork. Those who excel in their careers may be more disciplined. They might be more willing to put in hard work and brave when it comes to taking risks professionally. But they might lack relationship skills. The person who excels in relationships might have better self-awareness, better communication, and vulnerability, possessing exactly what the professional is afraid of, yet unable to buckle down at work long hours, or be patient when it comes to building an empire of their own. Needless to say, the amount of variation here is unending, These are the broadest examples you could possibly ask for, and of course, there is plenty of crossover within each person, as we're all very layered and possess different skill sets. So don't take all of those examples literally. It was just a commentary on how big choices might make us particularly susceptible to certain strengths and weaknesses. Our maturity is not defined by one aspect of life, because we're different people making different choices amidst different interior and exterior circumstances. Our unique maturity is determined by our chosen values, our chosen path, and our chosen skill set. You might find it easy to agree with this idea of all of us being different people on different paths. Most would. So why then would that idea be separate from maturity? We inevitably fall into different lives, different priorities, and collectively illustrate the point that there is no single standard for how to live as an adult, and thus that there's no single standard for maturity as an adult. I mean, I suppose there might be a basic guideline in there somewhere that we all want to abide by, but we all have something that we can learn from someone, something that comes so naturally to them but so painstakingly to us. That goes for everybody. Maybe your boss can teach you about how to believe in yourself and start your own company, and you can teach them about how to dial back and appreciate the little things more. I don't know. When we're growing up, and probably into our 20s too for many of us, we all have visions of what it's like to become a full-grown, full-fledged adult. But everyone also has strengths and weaknesses, or maturities and immaturities. We get to a point when it becomes impossible to ignore this. And for many of us, that means realizing that what we thought adulthood was all about was all wrong. It's not having all the pieces together, scared of nothing. It's being more mature in many ways than we were as kids, but still feeling like a kid or feeling unprepared in many other ways, whether or not we realize it or care to admit it. Okay, and a big thank you to the asker for submitting this question and letting me go on a bit about my personal life. No, but really, it felt appropriate. And my hope for you, asker, is that you can walk away from this episode trusting the fact that no single version of maturity exists. We're all bound to mature in different ways about parts of life in which we're more reinforced and thus willing to come back again, more battle-tested, etc. So as long as you're living intentionally, I wouldn't say that you're behind at all. And for everyone else out there, if you have a question of your own that you would like to submit to the show, email your questions to me at advice@oldpodcast.com, advice@oldpodcast.com. I'd love to help out, so don't be shy. And aside from that, have a great rest of your day, folks. Thank you so much for coming, and I'll talk to you in the next episode, where your optimal life awaits.